Hey, thanks for tuning in. In this video, we're going to discuss the issue of the Hebrew word Shamar. Are we just to Shamar the commands? Is this all that the Torah requires of us? And this is a belief that I've heard in the past, various groups of people assert that all that the law requires of us, all that the God of Israel requires of us, according to them, is that we need to Shamar the commands. Now, what does the word Shamar mean in Hebrew? Now, if we look at a general common English translation of the law, usually the word Shamar is rendered as observe or keep, depending upon the context. So we're talking about we're supposed to observe the commands or we're supposed to keep the commands. And there are a few examples of this that one might use to say that that's what we're supposed to do. So, for example, Exodus 31:13 says, "And you, word to sons of Israel to say, Yea, my Sabbaths you shall guard, that it is sign between me and between you to your generations, to know that I am Yahuwah, one certainly hallowing you." Deuteronomy 4:40 says, "And you shall guard his enactments and his commandments, which I am commanding you today." Deuteronomy 5:10 also says, "And doing kindness to thousands, to ones loving me and to ones guarding my commandments." So as you can see, we are repeatedly told to Shamar the commands. We are repeatedly told to observe, keep, or guard, depending upon how we're translating it. We are repeatedly told to do that in regard to the commands. And this belief is that therefore that's all that we're supposed to do, that we're supposed to have this awareness of the commands and to acknowledge the commands and respect them, but that we are not required to do them. We're just required to observe them. And this is the belief that I have heard talked about previously. And the thing is about this belief is we have evidence otherwise. And let's look at some of that. We're certainly not going to delve into all of it, but let's look at some obvious examples. Exodus 31:16, which, if you notice, is the continuation of a preceding passage that we referenced in regard to guarding the Sabbath, says, "And sons of Israel shall guard the Sabbath to do the Sabbath to their generations." So we are not only told in this passage to guard the Sabbath, to Shamar the Sabbath, but we are also to do the Sabbath, asaw, do. Leviticus 18:4-5 says, "My judgments you shall do, and my enactments you shall guard to go in them. I am Yahuwah your Elohim. And you shall guard my enactments and my judgments, which the human shall do them, and he shall live in them. I am Yahuwah." So once again, we are told to do his judgments and guard to go in his enactments. And we are told, "My enactments and my judgments, which the human shall do them." Asaw, once again. Leviticus 19:37 says, "And you shall guard all of my enactments and all of my judgments, and you shall do them. I am Yahuwah." Once again, we are to Shamar all of his enactments and all of his judgments, and we're also to do them. Asaw. Leviticus 20:8. "And you shall guard my enactments, and you shall do them. I am Yahuwah, one certainly hallowing you." Deuteronomy 5:1. "And Moses called to all of Israel, and he said to them, Listen, Israel, the enactments and the judgments, which I am wording in your ears today. And you shall learn them, and you shall guard to do them." So as you can clearly see, we are not just supposed to Shamar the commands. We're not just supposed to observe or keep or guard them, so to speak. but we are to oftentimes guard to do them, as it says, and also to walk in them. And of course, as I mentioned, the Hebrew word asaw is the word to do. And so we are to guard to do them. And this belief, this idea that we're only supposed to Shamar the commands, clearly it neglects to attend to a lot of other evidence that is in the text. It effectively ignores many passages, and I just referenced a few of them. There are many, many more that talk about doing and walking in the commands. And obviously we are to do the commands. And in regard to Shamar, we are to Shamar the commands. We are to guard the commands, as I would translate it. And I think this connects to Deuteronomy 4:2, for example. It talks about guarding commands in Deuteronomy 4:2. You shall not cause to add on the word which I am commanding you, and you shall not diminish from him, to guard commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim, which I am commanding you. So Deuteronomy 4:2 talks about we're not supposed to add to the commands, we're not supposed to take away from the commands or diminish from them. And that is connected to guarding the commands in that verse. And so in my view, for example, when we're talking about the commandments of the tabernacle, we don't have the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, with us at this time. So obviously we're not doing the tent of meeting rituals because the tent of meeting is not here. But we still need to guard the commands even if we are not able to do those at this time, for example. And so we still need to be mindful of them, and we need to make sure that we protect them from being added to or taken away from. The commands should not be added to or taken away from, as it says in Deuteronomy 4:2. I think that this is part of guarding the commands. And also, as it says elsewhere, we are to guard to do them. We are to be particularly careful that we are indeed doing the commands and that we are walking after them. So we are not only to Shamar the commands, we are also to do them, to asaw the commands. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like this video and to share it if you think it could be useful to other people. And feel free to subscribe if you have not already so we can stay in touch and so we can discuss more Torah issues. Once again, thanks for watching. Remember the commands. Peace.